The crowd moved like a restless wave through the bright, echoing halls of the international airport. Rolling suitcases clicked against the polished tiles, flight announcements echoed overhead, and the air buzzed with impatience. But amid all that sound, one girl stood in complete silence. Her name was Amara, 19 years old, wearing a faded gray hoodie and carrying an old, torn backpack that looked too heavy for her small frame. Her dark hair fell in front of her face as she tried to steady herself near the departure gate, her lips trembling, not from fear of flying, but from something far more desperate. Her lips moved soundlessly, her hands trembling in subtle motions that only a trained eye could recognize. She was trying to ask for help, but no one noticed. She was deaf, and in a place full of voices, her silence made her invisible. The world moved too fast to see a girl who couldn't speak. As the minutes ticked by, Amara pressed a hand to her chest and looked around frantically. Her phone screen flickered a message in large letters: "Need help. Lost my bag. Important medicine inside." But no one stopped long enough to read. Her sign language gestures drew only confused stares or awkward smiles from people who mistook her for begging. Her eyes began to glisten with tears she refused to let fall. That if you believe that kindness still exists, that one small act can change a life, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindly Tube. Together, we can keep stories like this alive, stories that remind us how one human moment can turn silence into hope. Amara sank to the floor near a pillar, exhaustion setting in. She had been traveling alone for the first time, flying from a small town to the city where a charity had offered her a job at a cafe that hired people with disabilities. Her mother had sold her few gold earrings to buy the ticket. It was supposed to be a new beginning. But somewhere during the layover, her small blue bag, the one that held her hearing aid batteries, ID, and heart medicine, was gone. She searched everywhere but couldn't find it. Now, she couldn't hear the announcements or ask for help properly. The world blurred around her, filled with faces that didn't see her panic, and then, in that sea of rushing adults and glowing phone screens, a tiny voice broke through, not for Amara, but for her. A little girl about 6 years old, with curly brown hair and a pink suitcase decorated with stickers, had stopped a few feet away. Her name was Maya, and she was holding her mother's hand, tugging impatiently. "Mommy," she whispered, "that girl's crying without sound." Her mother, busy checking their boarding passes, barely looked up. "Honey, she's probably fine. Come on." But Maya didn't move. She just kept staring, her wide hazel eyes locked on Amara's trembling fingers and pale lips. Amara noticed her too. Their eyes met, one pair filled with silence, the other with curiosity and warmth. Maya let go of her mother's hand and walked over slowly, clutching a small stuffed rabbit. Amara looked startled, shaking her head as if to say it's okay, go back, but Maya knelt in front of her instead. She didn't speak at first. She just tilted her head and smiled softly, then took out a small notebook from her backpack and a pink pen. She wrote, in big uneven letters, "Are you okay?" Amara's lips parted slightly, and she nodded weakly. She took the notebook and wrote back, "Lost my bag. My medicine is inside." Maya frowned and scribbled again, "Can I help?" That simple question, a child's honest offer, made Amara's throat tighten. Her eyes filled with tears as she nodded again. Maya jumped up and ran back to her mother, tugging her sleeve harder this time. "Mom! The girl can't hear. She needs help. Her bag is lost." This time, her mother, Claire, looked up properly. Seeing the seriousness on her daughter's face, she followed her back. Claire knelt beside Amara, speaking slowly, unsure if she could be understood. But Maya already knew what to do. She wrote on the notebook again, "This is my mom. She will help." Claire quickly used gestures, pointing toward the help desk, making a motion like writing. Amara understood and nodded, clutching her chest in relief. Together, they went to the information counter. Claire explained the situation to the staff, while Maya stood beside Amara, holding her hand gently, as if protecting her from the noise around them. It took nearly half an hour, but eventually, the lost and found officer returned with a small blue bag. "Someone turned this in near the restroom," he said. Amara's whole body trembled when she saw it. She opened it quickly, checking inside, and there it was, her medicine bottle, still sealed. Her shoulders shook with silent sobs as she pressed her palms together in gratitude. Maya didn't understand why the woman was crying, but she smiled and squeezed Amara's hand tighter. Claire smiled too, though her own eyes looked glassy now. She turned to Maya and whispered, "You did something beautiful today, sweetheart." Amara took the notebook and wrote one last message, "Thank you, little angel." Then she drew a tiny heart beside it. Maya grinned proudly and hugged her, but as the announcement board flashed with departure times, Claire realized Amara's flight was already boarding. She gently pointed it out. Amara's eyes widened, she had nearly missed it. She quickly gathered her things, then turned back to wave, both hands raised, smiling for the first time that day. Maya waved back energetically. Claire put her hand on her daughter's shoulder and whispered, "Sometimes the smallest hearts hear what the world ignores." When Amara boarded the plane, she found her seat near the window and pressed her forehead against the glass. The engines roared, but she felt only the vibration. She closed her eyes, clutching the notebook page Maya had given her. It was a simple page with pink crayon hearts now drawn across it, and in the corner, Maya had written one more line before Amara left, "You're not alone." That sentence stayed with her long after the plane took off hours later. When the flight landed in the city, Amara stepped out into the afternoon sunlight. The warmth on her skin felt like a new beginning. She had made it. At the cafe where she was supposed to start work, she met her new co-workers, people like her, who had lived in the quiet world between sound and silence. As she learned to communicate and work again, she hung Maya's notebook page above her small dorm bed. Every night, before sleeping, she would touch it lightly, remembering the little girl who had noticed her silent cry when no one else did. Months passed. Amara's life slowly changed. The cafe became popular for its kindness campaign. Every customer was greeted with a written card that said, "Thank you for listening to silence." And one day, a family walked in. Claire and Maya had spotted the cafe sign while traveling again and begged her mom to stop there. As soon as they walked in, Amara saw them. Her breath caught, and then her face broke into the brightest smile. She rushed forward, notebook in hand, tears already forming. She wrote quickly, "You found me again." Maya, now a little taller, hugged her tightly. "I told you," she said softly, "you're not alone." The moment was pure, like light piercing through clouds. Other customers paused to watch, feeling something shift inside them, something quiet but powerful. No one spoke, they didn't have to. The whole room seemed to understand what kindness could sound like, even in total silence. That day, Amara gave Maya a gift, a bracelet made of small blue beads, the same color as her lost bag. She signed to her with her hands slowly, teaching her one word, "friend." Maya repeated it, clumsy but proud, giggling as Amara clapped silently in joy before leaving. Claire took a picture of the two of them standing side by side, the young woman who had once been invisible, and the child who had seen her heart. Later, that photo went viral online when Claire shared it with a short caption, "My daughter noticed the only voice that couldn't be heard." And it changed all our lives. People around the world read Amara's story and began sharing their own small acts of compassion, helping strangers, learning sign language, listening to the unheard. The cafe received hundreds of letters and donations, enough to open another branch dedicated to helping hearing-impaired youth find work and confidence again. And every evening, Amara would sit by the cafe window, watching the sky turn golden, holding that same old notebook page between her fingers. The paper had faded, but the words still shone. "You're not alone." Not if this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, share, comment, and subscribe to Kindly Tube. Your one click helps spread stories that remind the world silence has a voice too.